Okay, as per your request. So just to give you some orientation, here's the kitchen. There's a living room. I'll show you that later. Here we are walking to the mudroom, and that's the garage door there. So it's just a little tiny room. Coat hook. It's the kind of the entrance to the laundry room. There's the laundry room. There's my pedestal. So now we're going to walk out to the garage. So here's this little landing I was talking about. And there's the freezer on this landing. And these are the stairs going down to the garage. And here's just a quick view of the 3-car garage. I don't have my car in there right now because I'm getting ready to put shelves up right there. But so there's 3 big windows. There's Miranda's car in the back. There's the second space for a car. And then there's one big door there and one small door there. And I've got shelves up against that door right now for my shop, but I don't know if that's going to stay the same. I mounted a bunch of ladders up on the wall here. So I've got there's my electric water heater on demand. Oh, and if you look at these guys, these stairs, they weren't painted. And they didn't have this edge stripping. So I painted it all with this paint gray. I think it came up pretty nice. Before it was just solid wood. So here's my shop, and here's a lot of the stuff I have in boxes, and I've got it all labeled. Those are some heavier duty things in there. And then I've got a bunch of stuff in there on these temporary shelves. And then as I rotate around, there's a shelf system I'm going to get rid of. I've got my 2 rollaways right here. And then I've got my flip-flop with my drill press and my bandsaw. And then I've got my compressor. And since it's always about 85 degrees during the summer, I got that fan going. Then I got my chop saw stand. Then I got my 8-foot bench that I've had for 30 years. And I was going to build my own custom shelving, but I found this stuff at Home Depot. It's this rail system, and I put these shelves together. I think it was maybe $50 of materials for this, and it really turned out good. I've got a nice place for my tools and some of my supplies, and then up here I've got these smaller boxes of stuff that I use a lot. And then over here I've got this iPod speaker. I've got some outlets here, and then I've got the 3 tabletop tools I use all the time. Here's this little 1-inch belt sander. Here's the 4-inch belt sander, and then there's the grinder and buffing wheel. And then I've got this vise here, which is more of an automotive vise, but sometimes I use it for wood. And then down here, it's just some crap. Don't know what's going to happen down there. Whether there's going to be some shelves. And then this is where I've got the table saw, and as you can see, this is the stair landing here. So underneath this stair landing is where my table saw is. So somebody had cut a big hole in here, and there's storage underneath and to the right, and it just so happens it just barely fits. My table saw is just the right height to fit in there. I could have obviously cut the drywall, but I didn't, and it only sticks out about, maybe 11 inches, and I actually can kind of use it as a little shelf. So it's kind of cool, and I can pull it out in 2 minutes. And so then I had this big space here, and I had this big piece of house siding that I had, So I mounted it to the wall. I mounted it to the studs. I got it mounted to the stud on there. And then I painted it with the same gray that I painted these stairs. You know, so I just started putting stuff up here, and I've kind of never done this before. I've done the clamps and stuff, but so far it's great because, you know, I got all my clamps up here. I've got my air filter. I've got ear protection. I've got my larger filter. I've got my magnifying head glass thing. And I've got my T-squares and my levels and my speed square. And there I can put, you know, extra glasses. And then I've never ever done this before, but I mounted these hammers, and already I've been using it, and it's really cool. And here's that blower I was telling you about that works off of this lithium battery pack for Black & Decker, and that's the same one that I use for this guy. This little, I think it's a $50 drill. So it works in here, but it only gives you about maybe 8 minutes. And then that's the same pack that I use for my battery-powered skill saw that's also Black & Decker. That was cheap, but I have the bigger pack. And then I decided to mount all of my recharging stations up here. So here's my DeWalt. There's my Black & Decker. There's the Milwaukee. You'll recognize that. And I had to rig like a special way to hold this because there's no screw for that. And then I put a couple of outlets here, and this is on a 20 amp circuit. And then I have to figure out what I'm going to do with this here. And then these are these tables I told you about that are just made out of these guys. These are, you know, these are $30 shelves. And then this stuff you buy from IKEA. And they're like $8 for each table thing, and I just put screws in underneath, and then I attached it to the wall like that, and those are into studs. And it's really stable, you know. And then so down here I've got all of my hand tools, like my Dremel tool and grinders and stuff like that, in bags. I don't know if it's the perfect solution, but a lot of times you have a lot of accessories for the tools, so it makes it kind of easy for me to just go grab the bag. It's closed, so if there's no dust gets in it. So for now, and then these boxes right here, I have to put in storage in the house. Those are just extra. You know, so it's a work in progress, but it's already been a lot of fun. And I bought some, for $16 from Amazon, I bought these LED lights up here, these guys, for underneath lighting. And I just hooked up this switch here. It's kind of goofy, but you know, it adds some additional lighting for when I'm working here on the table. And then this is a lamp my dad had forever that he gave me. Just a couple fluorescent bulbs. You know, and it works great because, you know, you can move it around. You know what these guys are. So anyway, so that's the garage. So here's the, let me see. Here's the other section. So here's where Marinda parks because she has a bit of issues with depth perception. So she wants to come in here on the left side and align her mirror up. So she's got, you know, she's got room here to open her door to the first detent. And I just went and got a big 10-foot ladder for 150 bucks because it's the only way I can get to the top of the ceiling of these guys. But this placement here may not be the best because she's smacking it here, so that may have to change. And then I put my bikes up over there, and that was a bracket that was already here. I don't know if you could see it. There's this bracket that the guy already had here. So I cut it up and made it smaller, and it looked like that's a good place to put the bikes. And then I've just got some crap over here. And then temporarily, I'm putting some wood here, but I think I'm gonna do something different for my wood scraps. And as you can see, I got all this room above the doors. So I may actually put an area from all my wood scraps up there, so I don't have to put all this junk here. For now, it's just catch as catch can. So here's the middle place for a car, and I align my car right here on the edge. I go right as far to the right as possible, which leaves, you know, about this much space between the cars. So it gives me enough room to open up my door, but there's no room on the right side, but that's okay. And then this leaves enough room on this side for Paige to get in and out. So right now, this junk right here, these are all empty boxes, and my motorcycle goes right here. You know, and then it just sits right in the middle, and I can walk around it. But if I have something to do, I can always pop it out. So let me see. Oh, I'm at 11 minutes.